Welcome back to Life in Pixels. Thanks so much for joining me. Today I'm going to be doing a speed build of a community lot here in the new world of Evergreen Harbor that came with the Eco Lifestyle expansion pack. So when this expansion pack was first announced and I saw that we were going to be able to get all these new build tools to make shipping containers, I was super excited and I immediately hopped on Pinterest to start getting inspiration for shipping container homes. I've always been really fascinated with shipping container homes, like watching HGTV and stuff like that. It's just really cool what people can do with shipping containers and how much they can transform them. So one thing that I saw while I was looking on Pinterest that I've never seen before was all of these different like bars, restaurants, cafes, shops in shipping containers. And I was just immediately fascinated. And I've never seen a shipping container build in real life. Like I've never seen a shipping container home in real life, but I've never even seen a picture or a video or anything of like a business in a shipping container. So the only thing that I have to compare it to is in my real life where I live, that food trucks are a pretty popular thing. And we have food truck festivals in the area where a bunch of food trucks will set up at a park or a really large parking lot, and then you can go and you can sample all these different foods from all these different places. And so that's pretty cool. So I wanted to blend that idea of like a food truck festival with these inspiration that I got from all of these different little shipping container businesses. So while I was looking around the world of Evergreen Harbor, I really fell in love with this lot of the Quarry. And when you originally start your game, the Quarry is one of those new community spaces where your Sims can vote to fix up the area and make it into like the community garden or a maker space or a marketplace. And I did tear it down and make this into actually a restaurant is how this build functions. And I'll talk about that a little more in a second. I felt slightly guilty tearing down one of the new community spaces, but there's 3 in the world total. So I didn't feel too bad about it. I really liked the Quarry because for one, it's this really big lot, super spacious for this idea that I had. And then also I thought it was so cool to have the idea of this abandoned quarry. And now that the neighborhood is, cleaning up from being super industrial and they're trying to make things greener, that they would have repurposed these shipping containers into this really fun community space. So when I was thinking about what all I wanted to put here, I knew that I definitely wanted to have food involved since I wanted to kind of blend that idea of the shipping container businesses with like a food truck festival. So I was playing around with different lot types to see what would work best. And I found that a restaurant works really, really well to be able to have, of course, the food and then have a few different functions as well. Because with a restaurant, if you set up a bar, like you can see that I'm doing here, a bartender will automatically show up and then your Sims can order drinks and everything just like they would at a bar. But then, of course, you have the functionality of a restaurant. And I just want to talk about this kitchen for just a second. So this is the kitchen for the overall lot. And I really love that chef station that comes through and like cuts through the wall and makes it look like you have like an order counter. I thought it was perfect for this. It looks like your Sims can just walk up to the counter and order their food. And then there's a bunch of picnic tables here in the middle of the build that y'all will see in a few minutes. And I figured like your Sims would just come up here, they would order their food, and then they'd go find themselves a picnic table and sit there. So we have to use our imaginations just slightly because unfortunately, as y'all know, restaurants don't work that way. You have to have the hostess station. So it's out here in the front of the shipping container. So we can just kind of, like I said, use our imaginations, pretend that our Sims can order there. But all the picnic tables, they function really well as restaurant tables. I was a little surprised by that. I've actually never used picnic tables when I've made a restaurant before, though I've only made a restaurant I think like one other time, and it really wasn't that good. But I think it was really good that it worked out where I could use picnic tables, because I didn't want to use those dine out tables everywhere. There are a couple of dining spots in the bar if you do want your Sims to sit inside. The one drawback is that most of this is outside as far as like dining, so fingers crossed that it doesn't rain when your Sims come here, or they're gonna get soaking wet. Side note, do y'all see that crazy missing texture on that painting? Like, where did that go? Like, what happened to it? I saw that there was a hot fix that was released a couple of days ago to, I think, fix the missing texture on that picture, but I recorded this before that patch came out, and so I was super confused when I saw that. I was just like, where did my texture go? But anyway, it should be back now, fingers crossed that it's there, so I just used a different swatch and moved on. Anyway, so we got the bar, we've got the restaurant. There's a restroom, which, by the way, I almost forgot to add a restroom, so thankfully I remembered, because we don't need our Sims using the bathroom all over themselves when they go out to eat. And then over here, I've made a cafe. It won't function as a cafe if you set the lot to this without putting the barista counter in here. So you would just like switch out the counters and put the barista counter in here if you wanted to run it as a cafe, and it should be fine. But I went ahead and I included a coffee maker, a tea maker, and a couple of ice cream makers, and this works just fine. You can direct your Sims to come make drinks for themselves or make ice cream. I also noticed they do it autonomously when there's other Sims visiting. So I thought that was really cool that they can just come over here. So you can come to the restaurant and actually not like pay for food. You could just come get some ice cream and some coffee if you wanted to. I also included some books in here so your Sims can come sit in here. They can read and chill. I wanted to make each of these different shipping container stalls look very different, because I wanted it to appear that these were different businesses owned by different Sims, and that they were all just hanging out here in this one area and creating this fun little marketplace area, but that they were their own unique and individual shops and businesses. So I gave this one like that warm, super cozy look that I think of when I think cafe. Just think really warm and cozy, as opposed to like that more industrial and minimalistic look that I gave to the bar. And then over here is like a little market stall, a little, I don't know what I would call it, like a farmer's market type stall, I guess, was the inspiration that I was going for. Now, this will not have any function at all if you are running it as a restaurant, other than just looking cool and being a fun part of decoration, because you can't run retail and restaurant together. But if you did want to change it from a restaurant into a retail lot, you definitely could. There is the cash register here to be able to do that. But I think it just works much better as a restaurant. But I was thinking that if I'm having this marketplace, it would make sense to have an actual like business that sells goods here in a marketplace. So I kind of gave it, like I said, a little bit of a farmer market vibe. I've got some produce around, there's some flowers, there's some new dyes that you can get out of dumpster diving, there's some candles, just little things that you would find like at a farmer's market. So I thought that just really added that little extra touch to the place. And even though it's non-functioning as it's set, I think that is my absolute favorite stall. But I really do love that whole like shabby chic thing, and it's really cluttered. And if y'all have seen some of my other builds, y'all know that I really love clutter, maybe a little too much. So that was a place where I could just shove in a bunch of clutter and it would not affect the functioning of your Sims getting around or anything. So here are all the picnic tables in the middle here. Like I mentioned, they work great as restaurant tables, and I just put some little decorations in the middle, and then I put some of these heat lamps around so that if it is the winter, your Sims should be able to stay warm, and they act as lights. So that's a really cool thing. And then you can see right here next to the restroom, this is one of those new little carts that comes with the Eco Lifestyle expansion pack. I think it sells like juices and coffee and some of the new food dishes that you can make out of bugs. Now, you will have to hire a vendor if you want to order anything from that stall. They won't show up automatically with this being a restaurant, but you just hire a vendor and it works just fine. You can order everything like normal. So we are about to come up onto the screenshot. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.